Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle. Thank you all for coming. Whoever's here, I see Shadow Scout Swede. There you go. We're going to try and talk correctly starting early in the morning before I've had my coffee. Is here. And so, thank you. Luciana from Luciana Success was here before we started. And so, I'm going to start the poll. And then I'm going to get right into my topics of retirement channels. And I've got so many channels. Hi, Mrs. Paula. Mrs. Paula Does Retirement is another one and I'll just start with her because she was not on my list and she should have been. I have this long list of retirement channels that I watch for different reasons. And Mrs. Paula is one of my newest ones. But my list is so long because, as you all know, I watch a lot of various different YouTube channels. Because my channel is about early retirement, it's about financial freedom, I watch mostly personal finance channels. And most of that is that before I retired and when I first retired, I needed to learn how do you manage your money. And I have a tip. This is This is a current hot take from this morning about retirement. And this is why I watch retirement channels. And not only retirement channels, but we're going to get into some channels where people have not retired yet. Because I needed to learn how to retire before I retired. And so I watch a lot of certified financial planners. They're not on my list, but they talk about things to do in retirement. And here's something I'm going to pass on to you that nobody told me. Out of all these years of me watching these channels, nobody told me this. So I applied for Social Security. And this has nothing to do with how I was planning to talk about on my live this morning. So I'm going to get into my channels here shortly. But what's going on with me today, right this minute, is I am waiting on a call back from the Social Security Administration. I applied for Social Security and it was supposed to start in January. First payment comes in February. I didn't know that. However, I just got approved a couple of days ago for my first payment to come in February. But when I looked at my Social Security webpage yesterday, it said your payments are suspended because you are still working. That's all it said. And I'm sitting here, I had planned on having that money to pay for different things, either pay down debt or invest. I had planned to have that money in addition to my teaching income. Now, the way it works is if you make over a certain amount of money, they withhold payments. The way they explained it to me when I had someone on the phone a month or two ago is that because I make more than the minimum amount allowed each year with my teaching income, it's not a lot more, but it's more than their limit, they would stop my payments in October. So I wouldn't get a payment in October, November, December. And that would cover what I make over their limit. Well, when I called them, it was this morning. Because yesterday when I saw this, it was too late in the day to call. So I got them on the phone this morning, and the lady explained to me, she said, you're going to get a check in February, but we are not going to give you money in March, April, or May. That was not in my financial plan for 2026. So because my teaching income is variable, the colleges may give me a class, they may not give me a class. But when I filled out the Social Security online application and they said, is your income variable? And I said, yes. They said, what months do you expect to get income? I did not know that those were months they were not going to pay me. Now, I do not know as of right this minute whether or not when the payments start up in June, if they will continue for the rest of the year. See, that part I don't know. There's a lot they do not tell you. I was expecting payments from February through October, which would give me enough time to get all my finances in order for the year. I was not expecting that you get one check and then you don't get 3 checks, then you get checks again. So this is a hot take just so that you have some Social Security information for when you apply for Social Security. Be careful what you tell them about your estimated income for the future year. Okay, I got my hot take out of the way. But again, this is something that no financial channel on YouTube told me before. And so I'm going to look in the chat here and see. Hi, Julie. Julie, I'm going to talk about your channel because I'm talking about my favorite YouTube channels, right? And Mrs. Paula reminded me, because she was not on my list, I have so many channels that I'm going to have to do a part 2 to this YouTube live because there's just too many channels. But I'm going with channels in this one. I'm going with channels that, one, I've been with for a long time, and 2, new channels like Mrs. Paula Does Retirement. And I'm so glad I've got to add you to my list for the next time I do this live. But I'm going to get right into it because I have so many channels to talk about that it's way too many. And as I was building my list of channels to talk about, it just kept growing and growing. And I said, Daryl, there's no way that you could do this in an hour. There's no way. But I'm going to try to rapid fire through this list and see if I get there. So I started a poll that was asking if retirement, let's see what the poll says here. Let's see. Where's my poll? No, I don't want to end the poll. I just want to look at the poll. See, old YouTuber guy doesn't know what he's doing. So, do you believe retirement should include location freedom? That's the poll for the day. And I do think that it should include location freedom. However, it doesn't always, because retirement is personal, just like personal finance is personal. So for me, because I teach online, my retirement is location independent. It doesn't matter where I am. Now I have to try to close the poll. There we go, so that I can see. So let me get started, because after I told you my current Social Security situation, what I did was, and again, I haven't even gotten to my topic yet. When I was planning my 2026 finances, I was expecting Social Security every month up until October. So I took my teaching income and I've already planned for it to go into retirement accounts in the first few months of the year so that I build up my savings rate. And right now, my savings rate, right now as it stands today, July 9th, is at well over 70%. And I'm trying to keep that savings rate high as long as possible. But now, with them only giving me one Social Security check and then no check in March, April, or May, I'm going to have to bring that teaching income home. Because what I'm really trying to do is plow down my debts. I want to pay down my debts, I mean quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because I do not like paying interest. And so I'm just really allergic to interest. So I thought the Social Security checks would go towards that debt pay down. But since they're not going to come in for 3 months, at least 3 months, I need money coming in to ensure I pay down debts quickly. So I may have to build up my savings rate later in the year. So my plans are changing as of right this minute. So as soon as I finish this live, I'm going to go into my retirement accounts and not have all of the money go into the Roth, because I've got 2 different Roths, just not to go off on another tangent, but not to have money go into the Roths, not all of it, have some of it come home for the next 3 months, and then when Social Security kicks back in, I will put the money back into retirement. So in retirement, you juggle. You juggle your money. And I'm blessed to have money to juggle. So, I'm just reading this. Oh, hi, DeFam Adventures. That whole nother retirement channel that I need to talk about. See, Mrs. Paula, DeFam Adventures, there's just too many. There's just too many, and so I need to add them to my list. But I don't want to type while I'm on screen, because then you guys will know what a horrible typing person I am, and I'm embarrassed with my typing skills. So we're not going to be typing their names during the live. But I am going to get right to my list of people. Hi, Lashana. Thank you for coming. Lushana Success, she has energy like you would not believe. You know, she has energy. I mean, I wish I had that kind of energy on a live. I really do. I mean, she's just unbelievably fabulous. And she helps people to grow their channel. I'm going to say that. I don't want to say she helps people to get monetized, because I don't want to make some kind of a claim. But she helps people grow their channel. And as you all know, this live was supposed to happen last week, but I hit 1,000 subscribers on December 30th. And so then last week I had my 1,000 subscriber party. And so now I'm going for watch hours. So you guys are seeing these silent lives late at night to get you watch hours. But normally, if you've been here for a while, I have a live on Friday. I try to put out a video on a Wednesday, and that's pretty much it. Because I'm retired, and I do not want to be on YouTube 7 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't want to do that. I want to go fishing. I want to go traveling. I want to enjoy retirement. Which leads me to, we hope we'll have a live next Friday, but I'm not 100% positive because I'm not sure on the time zones. I will be in Hawaii next week. And yes, I'll be teaching my students from Hawaii. That's the location independent part of my retirement, is I can teach my students from anywhere. So if I travel in my car for a month and a half and go visit friends, I can still teach and earn an income. I was in Belize on vacation, and I was sitting there on the beach with my laptop, and I was grading my students. And I'm looking out over the ocean, and I'm thinking, what a beautiful life. And this is what retirement is to me, is on the beach teaching. And so I want to do it from Costa Rica. I want to do it from Ecuador. I want to travel and still earn an income. So that enough about me. We're going to get into my topic, which it's now 13 minutes into the live, and I'm just now getting to the list of my favorite channels. Now, they're not in any particular order because I pretty much like them all the same, right? And if you know me, then you know which ones I like more than others. Those of you that really know me. And so I've gotten to know a few of you, offline, off of YouTube. I've gotten to know a few of you, and you guys know which channels are my real favorites. But today we're not listing favorites in order or anything like that. And so Shadow Scout Swede said, thank you, or congratulations on my 1K. Thank you, Shadow. I watch him every Sunday. He is a survivalist, a prepper, and he is really getting me thinking about, what do I do in case of a hurricane comes down here to South Alabama? Because I'm close to the Florida border. So if something hits in Florida, I'm very close. So I am just north of the panhandle of Florida. So, okay, the first one I'm going to get into is Cathy at the Kronson Family. Now, these are people that I've been watching for a long time. And Cathy and her husband, they're young. They're not retired. They're in their 30s. And they are planning for an early retirement. They are paying off debt. They are saving money. Cathy and her husband, and they have a daughter, they are frugal like me. You know, Cathy earns a very high income. However, she shops at thrift stores. You don't see Cathy saying, I earn a high income, I should spend a ton of money. So prior to my early retirement, I had a high income because I had my federal government income, plus I doubled that with my teaching income. So technically, I had a high income, but I was putting 100% of that money into retirement accounts because I had no money in retirement. So she and I resonate on that being frugal, right? Now, I love her goal, which is her and her husband want to be able to live on one income so that she can stay home with her daughter. And so she wants to be work optional. And I love that. And I support her channel because of that. Where I always forget to give Cathy credit is that Cathy showed me OBS, which I use. I just used it in a video, I think last Wednesday. And so OBS has allowed me to share my screen and do recordings sharing my screen. And I do my end of month budgets, my end of month spending update. I won't call it a budget because I don't budget. Let's just be honest. I don't even know how to budget, okay, and plan for next month. I just pay heavily on debt. That's what I do. Throw every penny you have at debt. The Dave Ramsey scorched earth method. The problem is I keep going back into debt. And so we pay it off, we go back. We pay it off, we go back. We're going to stop that in 2026. That's over. So Cathy with the Kronson family, I love her mission. I love how she keeps me thinking, be frugal. I live on less than $900 a month. There's a reason behind that, so that I can pay off debt like Cathy and her family are doing, and also so in my future I can travel. Now in her future she can stay home with her daughter, which I love, and they are very close to doing that. They're getting there. They have paid off massive amounts of debt, and they have invested massive amounts of money so that they could be technically coast fire and she can stay home, and they're practicing. Here's the other part. See, there's all kinds of benefits to watching her channel. They are practicing living on one income, her husband's income. So they're practicing that a year or two before she has the option to quit working. And I did that. I practiced living on just my teaching income and not my federal government income before I quit my federal government job. See, so there's a lot of similarities there. So my channel is about saving money, paying off debt, and retiring early. And that's what she's doing in her family. So I watch her channel. Also, she has me, before I forget, she has me doing now Transfer Tuesday. And so Transfer Tuesday was started by Mary at Penny's Not Perfection. She's a YouTuber, and many years ago, people all over YouTube have joined in on this Transfer Tuesday, where they transfer just a little bit. Does not have to be any high amount of money. But on Tuesday, put $5 in your savings account. Put $2 towards your mortgage. Transfer Tuesday is not an amount, it's just a habit of putting money away. And so I started putting, as you all know that watch my channel, I started putting $50 into my savings, which I've never had an emergency fund. All these years, I'm old, no emergency fund. I started putting $50 anytime income comes in. So if I get my pension, I put away $50. If I get my teaching income paycheck from one college or another, I put away $50. I am at $3,000 now in my emergency fund. It needs to be a lot higher. Because I have rental properties, I need a lot more money in an emergency fund as opposed to my lines of credit, which is what I dip into if an emergency happens. And then again, interest, and I end up paying it back. So That's Cathy at the Kronson Family. All of these that I'm talking about are in the description of this live with their channel handles. So if everybody wants to go and support them, I have to ask you to go and support Cathy at the Kronson Family because she is at just over 900 subscribers. And so she and I, our channels were growing. We both had 350 subscribers at the same time, you know. And so I'm going to put a special shout out request because I'm here to help small channels. Y'all know that. And so she's getting over that 1K hump. Now she wants that income to help her, that YouTube income to help her be able to stay home with her daughter. So 100% support that. You know, you all know that I don't want YouTube income for me. I want it for charity. But I love it when other people use their YouTube income for something that supports their desires in life, whatever that is. Second one, Life with T 76. We knew this was going to be on my list. Cathy and T, neither one of them are retired. And I'm going to get to retirement channels. But what I'm trying to point out here is that you don't just retire. You don't just early retire. It takes planning. It takes preparation. Julie at Happy on Monday, which I'm going to talk about here in a little bit, she planned for her early retirement. And she's retired. And her channel just, I mean, is blowing up. It's fabulous. But I found her channel while I was driving around the country. Now, I've done this a couple times where I've driven around the U.S. for a month and a half. See, that's my location independence. I would drive from Alabama to California, up to Oregon, out through Nevada. I went to Wyoming. I have a friend in Wyoming. I just drove to Wyoming to see my friend that has a cattle farm, right? Out there, a huge cattle farm. I've never been on a huge cattle farm, but I did that. I went to South Dakota and visited friends that I've met online in South Dakota, but never met in person. So I drive around the country and I can still work. So that works for me. But let's get back to T. Life with T 76. She's still working like Cathy, and T is becoming debt free. Right? I don't think I'll ever be debt free. I owe the bank so much money, it's ridiculous. Right? But if you come from being homeless and banks will now loan you money, your life is better. So I'm not complaining that I owe banks a lot of money. But T is getting debt free. Like Julie, she's paying off her house. Now, Julie paid off her house before she retired. I have the feeling that T will pay off her house before, if she ever decides to retire. But the point is that T will be able to retire early. She'll have work optional options. And that's what I want for everybody. Everybody watches my channel. Make yourself work optional. You can choose to work as long as you want to. But I want you to have that freedom to decide when you wish to stop working and to decide where your money goes. You know, my YouTube income will go to charity. I get to make that decision because I'm financially free, which doesn't mean rich. It means I have enough, right? And I live below the amount of money I bring in, right? Trying to live on $900 a month is not really a problem for me. I really don't spend a lot of money. So I get to decide, where do I want the other money to go? So I'm trying to pay down rental properties. That's my new latest thing. The older I get, the more debt-free I want to get. And that's why I watch Life with T. She's becoming debt-free at a much younger age than me. I'm older, but I'm trying to get to where she is. So I follow other people on YouTube that are doing what I want to do. That's what I do. And so Cathy at the Kronson Family is teaching me about being frugal. right? I love how frugal her and her husband are because they have a goal. They have a plan with their life. They're in their 30s and they're going to be multi millionaires someday. Anybody can do that. Anybody can become a millionaire if you have an intentional plan, which they have. Life with T, she does not believe in debt, which is cool, right? Now, she just did get a car loan, but she's paying that off, right? And she's doing a savings challenge, right? Where she's saving money, and so that money will go towards helping pay off that car even faster. See, and that's me. I'm all about scorched earth, get the debt paid off, right? Not that she's doing scorched earth, but me. I do scorched earth. That's an issue because then I go back into debt. And that's where my cycle is wrong. Okay, so let's talk about why I'm wrong is going back into debt. So no more buying real estate in 2026. So let's talk about another channel that I've been watching for quite a while, which is Fire We Go. Now, these are retired people. Now we're getting into channels where people are retired. Let me get over here to the chat. Thank you, Fairbrick Studio, for coming in. Fairbrick Studio, I met them and I just learned that he's in the UK. I think it's a he. He's in the UK. I just learned this the other day because I sort of follow him through the YouTube streets. And we go to this thing of supporting new YouTube creators on Sundays. And he's in there in the chat pumping out the links to YouTube creators' channels. And I thought that was so fabulous that I started doing it with him. So he and I will sit in this chat and go and get people's YouTube channel links and get the URLs, and we'll post those in the chat, as opposed to posting our own channels in the chat. We're all about helping other people. So Fairbricks, thank you for coming. This may be your first time at my live, I'm not sure, but thank you, thank you, thank you. And so I am in a community now of people who are trying to help other people to get monetized, to grow their channels, which is why I gave Cathy with the Kronson family a shout out. She is near her 1K. And I would rather her get monetized than me get monetized, because she has a real purpose in her own personal life for that YouTube income. And I know that she would not squander her YouTube income. That's just not who she is. So let's keep going, because I start rambling and then our hour is done, right? So I'm here every Friday for 1 hour. That's it. We're not going 5 hours. We're not going 3 hours on these lives. No. I want you to get back to your life, and I want to get back to my life. That's it. I'm retired. I don't want to spend all day, every day on YouTube. I spend it watching, but not live, where I can't get any other work done. I watch YouTube while I'm grading students and talking to students. So, Fire We Go, which is called now, it used to be Fire We Go when they first started, was the name of the channel, but that's their handle. Now it's called Strategic Early Retirement. Oh, hi, Marlene. Thank you for coming, Marlene. I just saw your name. I saw someone saying hi. Thank you, everyone that's in here. And so I'd love to talk about everybody's channel that's in here, because these are my supporters, right? And so I support them, right? And this is not that YouTube sub for sub. No, I love their content. Marlene motivates. Anybody who's doing motivation, that's my thing, right? That's why I do my quote of the day every day, which just started as something, and now I sort of got that train rolling. So now my quote of the day sort of has to happen, because now that train is rolling, and it's so much fun. Some people say that you should stop your shorts as you're trying to get monetized. Like I'm trying to get my 4,000 watch hours now, which I'll give myself a plug. I have a playlist on my channel that says 4,000 watch hour playlist. Please run that if you can, because I'm putting in my nightly lives into that, which would get me more watch hours. There's my own shameless plug for myself. But my point is, I watch other people's channels, and I'm trying to help other people get to monetization or grow their channels. Because Julie is already monetized, which I'm going to get to in just a moment. But first, let me go back and try to finish Fire We Go and tell you guys about their channel. I have been watching these folks for a few years now before they retired. Gian and Christine are from Canada, and they retired, I think, in 2024, right? And what they do is they travel the world full time. I love that. That is a dream of mine, is just travel the world. Can I do that? I don't know. I'm not, in that particular situation or plan, but I do want to travel from time to time. So I want to spend part of the year traveling, part of the year at home. That's just me. Now, would I love to travel either around America, which I'm going to get to that channel in a minute, or travel the world like they do? Now, they are masters of points, credit card points, and travel rewards, and those kinds of things. So they can travel on a much less expensive than just paying the money for travel. I have one credit card because I am not good with credit cards. And I will tell you, you have to know yourself. Know whether you pay your credit card bills on time. I do not. Okay, let me admit it. I do not pay my credit card bill on time. I know that's sacrilegious in the personal finance space, but I'm being honest. Last year, I paid $198 in interest on my credit card for the whole year because I try to pay it off as fast as possible. But as you can tell, I paid $198, so I didn't pay it every single month. So I didn't pay zero. Other people, zero. They never, ever pay a credit card charge. And that's what we say in personal finance world you should do. It's just me, I'm not perfect. That's all I'm saying. So with strategic early retirement, when they retired in 2024, on their channel, they take you on their trips around the world. And I love that for them. They have a condo in Brazil. They sold the house that they had in Canada, and they have dividend income from their stocks in the stock market. And so between their dividend income and their YouTube income, and they're saving money with credit card rewards and travel points and all that, they are able to travel the world. And that's their strategy. They don't do real estate, which is my strategy. So everybody doesn't have to have the same strategy. That's what I'm trying to show here. Personal finance is not one size fits all. You can pay off your house. You don't have to pay off your house. I'm trying to buy a mobile home, which is a whole nother live on how that whole loan and stuff went. That's a whole nother live. But anyway, trying to buy a mobile home. I don't want to spend a lot of money and get a stick-built home, which costs more and takes longer to build, because I want to travel. I want to keep my housing costs as low as possible so that I can travel in the future. I may not be teaching forever, although I could. I can. You could do that. Some people teach well into their 80s. You can, but I may not want to. And I want to have the option to stop. And so Social Security will replace my teaching income. So let's look back at how I do this. My teaching income replaced my federal government income. Then my pension kicked in, which gave me more than my federal government income between teaching and pension. Now I've cut back on teaching, and now Social Security is kicking in. So between my pension and Social Security, that gives me more than enough for my monthly needs. I have the option to stop teaching. Now, that's not an option right this minute for various different reasons, but in the future, I will have the option to quit teaching. We're going to keep going here. I'm going to try. I'm going to try and get through as many of these as I can. Let's get to Julie at Happy on Monday. I mentioned, let me run into the chat for a second. Shadow Scout Swede put his channel in the chat. Please type fire. Hi, Lisa. Lisa's here. Thank you, Lisa, for coming in. Please type fire in the chat so that your channel gets pushed out. And Lisa's another one who could be on her way to early retirement. I'm just not sure yet, you know. But she is doing fabulous in the stock market. And that's what I was trying to say is some people do it through the stock market and investing there. I do it through real estate and investing there. And so between my pension, my Social Security, my teaching income, my rental income, I have plenty. That someday, if I pay off the rentals and increase the cash flow, I could travel the world. So that's my future plan. And if anybody didn't see my post, here we go, going to the left, everybody. Everybody sit down. Daryl's headed left. If you didn't see my post from last night, I found a 2016 Rolls-Royce convertible for $290,000. Now, I can't afford to buy that. Don't get me wrong. But what I try to tell everybody is dream in high definition. Whatever your dream is for your future, whether it's early retirement, whether it's getting promoted at work, whatever it is, dream in high definition. I'm a visual person. I have to keep my dreams in front of me. That Rolls Royce, I've joked on here, and this started to be a joke, and now it's a running thing on my channel, which is if I sell all my real estate when I'm 80 years old, because I'm in my 60s now, if 80 years old, if I sell everything I own, I could buy a Rolls Royce. That was a joke a few lives ago, and now I'm actually believing it. See, it started as just a joke in a live. Now my head is, let's go look. How much does a Rolls Royce really cost? If you sold everything, could you do it? How soon could you do it? And this motivates me to pay off debt, which is why I watch Marlene Motivates. See, I motivate myself to live my dreams. And I have been chasing my dreams for 38 years. I've been chasing dreams for 38 years. And one dream after another dream after another dream has come true. So why can't a Rolls Royce dream come true? I'm going to Hawaii next week. That was a dream. I never ever thought I would be able to go to Hawaii. And next week, I'm actually living that dream. So dreams do come true, but you have to have a plan and you have to be motivated to do what you have to do to make that dream come true. And I hope, this is just me personally, my personal opinion is I hope everybody dreams of early retirement. That's what I hope. Because I want everybody to retire early. Retirement is fabulous. The earlier, the sooner, the better. So that you have the energy and the health to go and do the things that you want to do, whatever that is. If you want to go hunting, go hunting. But do it when you have the health to do it. If you want to buy a large piece of land, do it while you have the energy and the health to enjoy it. Right? We all see like the people on the cruise ships with the walkers, right? Trying to get on the cruise ship. That could be me someday, but I want to start cruising before I need a walker to get on the cruise ships. And so, Gian and Christine travel the world. They live in lower cost countries part of the year to lower their annual expenses. And then in other times of the year, they can go to higher cost countries. But the point is that they had a plan, right? And I can't believe I'm already at 40 minutes of this thing. I've only gone through a few. But let's get to Julie at Happy on Monday. As I mentioned, I found her channel while driving my car around the country. And so I would have my phone sitting up in that phone holder, and as I'm going down the road, I'm watching YouTube channels. And she's talking about, she hadn't retired yet. She's since retired, but she was talking about her plan to retirement. And her channel grew and grew and grew. Now, you all know I support the small YouTube creators, but I never miss one of Julie's videos because they're just so entertaining. And the fact that she paid off her house before she retired allowed her to retire with less than $500,000. People think, oh, you need $2 million, $3 million, right? Well, yeah, if you're wealthy, you could early retire with that kind of money. But no, both Julie and I retired with less than $500,000 in our retirement accounts. And so Julie is very conservative because she loves that pillow test. She wants to be able to sleep at night. She has a 3-bucket strategy, which is different again than me, right? I have no buckets because I don't save money. It's a problem with me. I'm working on it, everybody. But Julie did it right. She has a 3-bucket strategy. She's got money in case of an emergency that she may need now. She has shorter term money that she may need in a few years. And then she's got her long-term bucket, right? All of those, and the fact that her YouTube channel, I mean, it's just fabulous. Her income on YouTube helps to offset her retirement pull from her retirement accounts. And that's beauty because that's a part of the plan. See? And I'm not saying that Julie needs the money. What I'm saying is that if you do your YouTube channel the way you want to do your YouTube channel, it can help you live the life you want to live. Whether it's offsetting what you need to pull, which gives your retirement money more time to grow. See, Julie's net worth is actually growing in retirement. Retirement in the old days used to be I stop working and I just start drawing down my money. No. We want to double and quadruple our net worth in retirement, even after we stop working. That's what I'm doing. I don't know about all y'all, but I'm trying to double my net worth in retirement. Because if I double my net worth and triple my net worth and quadruple my net worth, when I'm 80, I could buy a Rolls Royce. There you go. See, you have to have a plan. And now, after talking to you guys, this is actually stuck in my head. You know, that, oh, you mean I could really buy a Rolls Royce? Well, if you pay off your debt and you don't rack up a bunch of more debt, and then you sell everything you own, yes, you could buy a Rolls Royce. So, my point is I have a plan. Whether it works or not is left to be seen, but it keeps me on the right track. It keeps me motivated to be frugal, pay off debt, save money, and build wealth. That's why I'm here. I'm here to build wealth. I'm not going to be ashamed to say that. I have been trying to build wealth from coming out of that homeless shelter 38 years ago, and I'm still trying to build wealth. So it didn't just stop because I retired. So that's Julie at Happy on Monday. Please support her channel because all the income that she gets, it helps her offset so she doesn't have to pull from her modest retirement account. The other thing that I'm going to mention before I leave Julie and go talk about somebody else is that she just recently started merch, right? Again, you guys know on my channel we're not doing that. But what I love about her merch that she started on her channel is that 100% of the proceeds from anything you buy from her store goes to charity to help stop human trafficking. See, it's things like that that touch my heart. When you're trying to do something for other people and not thinking of yourself, you get rewards. You get tons of rewards. I love that I go to my local jail, and I'll be going tonight to my local jail. I do community service. That gives me the reward where I'm not just always all about money. I am so blessed. Trust me, I am blessed beyond anything you could imagine. So I have to give back. And Julie is doing that. And so I'm just saying, things like that touch my heart. They really do. So I bought a t-shirt. You guys know I don't spend money. But as soon as her merch store opened and I could help fight human trafficking, I said, I'm in. I'm in. So you guys know I don't spend money, which gets me in trouble with a lot of YouTubers. But that's okay. That's okay. Some people just don't like me because I don't spend money. So let's talk about one of my newest people. I can't believe I may get through this whole list in the hour. Well, and Tumbleweeds on Fire is coming up here. Hi, Mrs. G. Thank you, thank you. She just got monetized. See, we're all supporting each other to get monetized. And Tumbleweeds on Fire is coming up here. I got Tumbleweeds on Fire on my to-do list here for today. And actually, it's coming up right now. So, first we're going to start with Tiger on Fire. Now, Tiger, I've actually gone and met Tiger and his wife in Louisiana, which is one of my first YouTubers that I've met. I met another one a couple of years ago when I was driving around the country for a month and a half, and I was telling you guys that I went to various different states meeting people. Well, I met a YouTuber in Utah. On my travels, I just happened to be passing through Utah. And I sent the YouTuber a message and I said, I think you're in Utah. I'm going to be passing through. Excuse me? We got eye issues being old. But anyway, or I could just be grateful and be tearing up. I tear up when I get grateful for the life that I have today. So if you guys see tears coming down, he's just grateful beyond belief because he's been so blessed. So we'll talk about Tiger, right? I started watching his channel when he was just walking his dogs in his backyard. And he was a small YouTuber, and I love small, new YouTubers. And I just found a YouTuber the other day. I believe he only had 3 subscribers. And I was subscriber number 4. And he has a personal finance YouTube channel. And I told him in the comments, I said, I'm going to be with you all the way through monetization. And I told him how to get to the source on Sundays so that he could get into our support spin wheel. Right? Now, if he comes, he comes. I don't know. But I'm here to help other YouTubers get monetized. Just because I don't spend money, I want YouTube to pay every one of you as much money as it possibly can. However it possibly can. I just want to be clear about that. I don't want everybody else to not spend their YouTube money. I do want you to invest part of your YouTube income so that when you stop doing YouTube, your money keeps growing and you keep growing your net worth, even after you stop social media. So invest a little bit, something of your YouTube income in your future so that you can retire early. We're all about retire early over here. Quit that job. No, don't do that. Don't do that unless you have a plan and unless you've practiced for a few years of living on your plan. Don't say, I've got a YouTube channel, I'm quitting my job. No, grow your YouTube channel so that the income replaces your 9-to-5 income at least a year. Then you're fairly well guaranteed that you don't have to work if you don't wish to. You become work optional. And that's what I love. I love options. We should all have options to do whatever we want in life, however we want to do it. If we want to be debt-free, have that option. If you want to own real estate like me and be in debt to, bazillions of dollars, then do that. Not everybody's comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that because I've been doing it for a little while and I've already taken a bunch of lumps and punches to the gut. Okay, I've already done all that. So I'm sort of now comfortable with getting hit upside the head every other month. Yeah. So now we were talking about Tiger, where I went and I met him and his wife in Louisiana just recently, within the last month or two. I'm planning on meeting Doran from the source, where we go every Saturday and Sunday. He's in Maui. I'm going to meet him next week when I go to Hawaii. So, my new thing, see, I used to just drive around the country just meeting friends that I've met on Zoom. My new thing is to come out there and meet YouTube creators. Right? Miss Paula's in Tennessee. That's like not a big deal. I could get up to Tennessee, right, from Alabama. I could do that. But I want to go and travel the country and eventually travel the world, right, meeting YouTubers. Exploradora. I'll just talk about her channel for 2 seconds. She is in Australia, and I recently started really following what she's doing. And I mean, you want to talk about somebody enjoying life. She dances on screen. I don't have that kind of courage to get in front of a live and just dance. She has that kind of freedom of spirit. And she's in Australia, and she was talking about another YouTuber that has a travel channel that was going to come through her area, and she was going to take that YouTuber out for the day to look at koalas in the wild. These are the kinds of things I want in my future. Australia is on my bucket list. Fiji is on my bucket list. The Maldives. Have any of you seen those huts that they have out over the water? And they're in these different patterns, like maybe a heart-shaped pattern or something out over the water in the Maldives. I want to go. I want to experience that. You know, and I watch another YouTuber where they went to the Maldives. They got married and went there on their honeymoon, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But anyway, they went to the Maldives. And that's my point, is I watch YouTubers that are living my dream life. They are working finances the way I wish I worked my finances. So I follow channels that are leading me. I'm financially free and I'm still growing. I'm still learning, right? I teach in colleges, I'm still learning. And that's what this life is all about. No matter how old you are, stay a lifelong learner. So let's keep going because I keep rambling and I'm amazed that I even made it through my list. But Tiger and his wife, first he was just retired and his wife was still working, Felicia. But then Felicia retired. So now they have bought an overlander, I believe it's called, and they have named it Tumbleweeds, right? And so it's Tumbleweeds is the name of their overlander, and they are going to drive around the country in their overlander. It's not an RV, it's an overlander. So they could go off grid if they want to go off grid, right? And they had this thing brand newly built and customized for them, and it's a beautiful, beautiful rig, right? It's like a Mercedes, not a Mercedes Sprinter van, another dream of mine, Mercedes Sprinter van, you know, kind of thing where I could drive around the country and live out of it. But that's almost the cost of a Rolls Royce. So it will be a long time before I ever buy a Mercedes Sprinter van and drive around the country. But theirs is like on this Mercedes chassis thing. And so anyway, Tumbleweeds on Fire is their new YouTube channel. So they have Tiger on Fire 411. All of this is in my description. So please go into my description, go to these channels and support these channels. They've supported me, as many of you who are in my live today have supported me. and I so appreciate it. I mentioned the other day that when my live ends at night, when I turn it off in the morning, and my silent lives are now intros to my various videos so that you get an idea of what's on my channel. Even though it's growing and changing, it's still personal finance and early retirement. And so I copy who was in my chat overnight and I put it in a Word file. And I have a watch list. I make sure I go and support. Especially, we'll take Tiff's take, for example. Tiff is so close to getting monetized that I'm really trying to help her. Oki's Eden, so close to being monetized. I want to see them get monetized before I get monetized. This is not a selfish thing when we're supporting other YouTubers. It's not. And that's what I've learned in the community that I'm in now, because now my channel's growing. When I first started, it was just me out there in YouTube world by myself. I had no idea that communities existed. And so Oki's Eden, his channel is building his own community. Now he does gardening. He's out of Oklahoma. He does gardening and cooking and different things. He does woodworking. I mean, just a lot of different things. And I'm not sure if he's retired. He seems retired, but I'm not sure. So I don't know. He and I have never talked about that. But I'm going to do collaborations with him in February. I'm also going to be interviewed by other retirement channels or YouTube channels in the future. So before I finish, these are the last few things that I want to talk about before our hour is up, are channels where I have been interviewed that have helped me to grow and get a little more exposure on YouTube. So my channel has only grown over the last 6 months. I have been on YouTube for a year and a half. These channels grew up, got monetized within 2 months, 3 months. So let me just run through these real quick, because this will be my entire list from my live, which I cannot believe I got to. Real Retirees Uncut. That is a channel where they just give retirees like 17 questions and you just answer the questions, however short or long you want. It's just uncut. He doesn't edit your responses, nothing. His channel is over 9,000 subscribers, and he's only been on YouTube 3 to 6 months. 9,000 subscribers. You can grow your YouTube channel really quickly. Me, not so much. And that's okay, because I'm retired and I just don't care, right? I'm not in that big of a hurry. However, I'd love to be monetized before June of 2026, because that's when I had my highest viewed video. It's the biggest peak in my analytics. I don't know what the analytics mean. I just know it's a big peak. And I think you're supposed to get monetized before you lose your big peak. That's all I know. Okay, that's as deep as I get into analytics. Before It's Too Late 2023 is another channel that interviewed me recently. They're at 8,000 subscribers. They're a new YouTube channel, but they interview retirees. They came up with an idea that I never would have thought of. First of all, I never would think to interview people because I'm camera shy. What would I think about me getting on here trying to talk to you? Wouldn't happen. So the last one that I just interviewed on, which is still a new channel and is going to grow like wildfire, you guys watch me on this one, is Next Chapter Retirees. And he does something similar to Real Retirees Uncut. But he gets you face to face with him and has a conversation. So he's sort of a mix between Real Retirees Uncut and Before It's Too Late. So he's sort of a mix of those two channels. But I've been interviewed on all three of those channels. And they did that collaboration link. So you should see somewhere in my community post where I was able to post my link to where I was interviewed, so that you can learn a little bit more about me and my history and why I'm just so blessed and so grateful for everything in my life. I mean, YouTube is just a blessing on top of a blessing, which is why I'm donating the money to the homeless if and when I get monetized. Because now I'm thinking when I get monetized. Because now I'm over that 1,000 subscriber part. And so we have just hit 60 minutes. And Oki came in. I was talking about your channel a little bit earlier. Oki came in and typed fire, but I'm going to stop this live because we start on time, we end on time. Right? That's the way I roll. Last week I went over because it was my 1,000 subscriber party. So I went a little bit long. We start on time, we end on time. I may or may not do a live next week from Hawaii, but I will do something live when I meet Doran from The Source next week in Hawaii. We'll be live on his channel, or we'll be live on my channel, or we'll do both, or we don't know. But Hawaii, here I come. And thank you anybody that watches my 4,000 watch hour playlist to help me get closer to my 4,000 watch hours so that I can donate that money to a charity here in my community in this small town in Alabama. Thank you all so very much. And Andy Mon's here, my supporter. Thank you, Andy Mon. So everybody have a great day. I'm going to sign off because I'll keep saying thank you for the next hour. So thank you all. I will talk to you all maybe next week from Hawaii. But at some point, I'm going live in Hawaii.